Hi, my name is GOPIKRISHNAN. I am from Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development from the Department of Social Work. Today, I am here to discuss about the topic domestic violence for the subject gender studies. So, what is domestic violence? Domestic violence, also called as domestic abuse or family violence, is violence or any type of abuse that occurs in a domestic setting such as marriage or cohabitation. Domestic violence is often used as a synonym for intimate partner violence, which is committed by one of the people in a relationship against another person and can take place in either heterosexual or same-sex relationships or between former spouses or partners. So domestic violence is any type of violence which takes place in a domestic setting such as a house. So it might be the victim's own family members or even their husbands or the one with whom they are in a relationship who's abusing them. And it is not just it happens to the to a heterosexual partner. It can also happen to same-sex. It can also happen in same-sex marriages and all. It is a worldwide phenomenon which is happening all over the country. I mean, all over the world. So, according to Gainley and Skettler, domestic violence is defined as a pattern of coercive and assaultative behavior that include physical, sexual, verbal, and psychological attacks and economic coercion that adult adolescents use against intimate partner. Here, partners can be anyone. Either they may be married or unmarried, heterosexual, gay or lesbian, living together, separated or dating. Domestic violence is not a gender-based violence, and in the sense that it does not particularly happen to a certain gender. So according to the definition, domestic violence is something which happens to most of the people around the world, but mainly it happens to women. It is not like it is not gender specific. It does not happen to a particular gender in general, but women are the ones who are mostly who become victims mostly. So it is not gender specific, but in a country like India and all, this happens mostly to women. Domestic violence can also happen to children. Now let's move on to the types of domestic violence. Domestic violence, like I've said before, is not gender specific. It can happen to any gender. It can happen to men, children, or any other gender in the LGBTQ+. So we can, but in a country like India, we can say that it mostly happens to women. Physical violence is the first type. Physical injury or physical violence is the most visible form of domestic violence. The scope of physical domestic or intimate partner violence includes slapping, biting, hitting, etc. It can also include using a weapon. Worldwide, the percentage of women who suffer serious injuries as a result of physical domestic violence tends to range from 19 to 55%. So, physical violence is one of those domestic violence which can be evidently seen in a victim. It can include throwing objects, strangling, beating, or even using a weapon against the victim. The psychological ones compared to the physical ones, psychological ones can't be seen that much. It can also affect this physical violence can also affect their mental health and all. So yeah, now the next one is emotional abuse. Emotional abuse has been gaining more and more recognition in recent years as incredibly common form of domestic violence. So before, emotional violence wasn't considered as a form of abuse. We can see that even in today's time, emotional abuse is mostly prevalent in many domestic settings, but it is not considered a type of abuse unless it leaves a mark. Yeah. So psychological abuse can erode a woman's sense of self-worth and can be incredibly harmful to overall mental and physical well-being. Emotional psychological abuse can include harassment, threats, verbal abuse such as name calling, degradation, blaming, stalking, and isolation. So these are the types of emotional abuse. These types of abuse does not mostly leave a mark like physical abuse. It is emotional, psychological. So this can affect the self-worth, and it can be overall harmful to the mental health of the person. So when we take the example of India, when a husband blames his wife for anything, or harasses his wife, threats his wife verbally abuses his wife, this all affects their mental health and can cause a huge problem in their life. So next form of domestic abuse is sexual assault. Domestic sexual assault is a form of domestic violence involving sexual or reproductive coercion and marital rape. Under Indian law, marital rape is not a crime except during the period of marital separation of the partners. So this is another form of domestic abuse which is common in India. It is called domestic sexual assault, domestic sexual assault. So under Indian law, it is not a crime. Domestic sexual abuse or marital rape is not a crime. The section 375 of the Indian Penal Code (IPC) considers the forced sex in marriages as a crime only when the wife is below 15. Thus, marital rape is not a criminal offence under the IPC. The marital rape victims have to take resources to the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 (PWDVA). The PWDVA, which came into force in 2006, outlaws marital rape. However, it offers only a civil remedy for the offence. So the next type of domestic violence is honor killing, which is very prevalent in a country like India. An honor killing is the practice wherein an individual is killed by one or more family members because he or she is believed to have brought shame on the family. The shame may range from refusing to enter an arranged marriage, having sex outside marriage, being in a relationship that is disapproved by the family, starting a divorce proceeding, or engaging in homosexual relationship. So this happens when somebody tends to bring shame to the family because it is not ethical to them. This is called honor killing, like having extramarital affairs, having sex outside marriage, with the partner, like not with the partner, married partner. This can all cause honor killing in country like India. In 2010, Supreme Court of India issued notice seeking data and explanation for the rise in honor killings to the states of Punjab, Haryana, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Jharkhand, Himachal Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. So the Supreme Court of India has issued a note seeking data and explanation in the rise of honor killing in states such as Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and all, because it is mostly prevalent in those states. But it is also prevalent in states like Tamil Nadu and Kerala also, but it does not come out as much as these states. And the another form of domestic violence is dowry deaths. So like we have learned in class, dowry is illegal in India, but asking for dowry is illegal in India. But even though it is illegal, families tend to give dowry as form of gifts from the women's part. This can cause many problems in their life. This leads to the deaths, like if the groom's parents ask for money and all, and the bride's family is not able to give them, the wife is tortured mentally, physically, sexually after the marriage, and these all results in dowry deaths. So these are some of the types of domestic violence which happens in India and all over the world, but mostly this happens in a country like India. The prevalence of domestic violence mandates that social workers must develop an adequate knowledge and skills to respond to domestic violence, regardless of practice settings, in order to respond appropriately to situations related to domestic violence. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 is an act of the Parliament in India enacted to protect women from domestic violence. It was brought into force by the Indian government and Ministry of Women and Child Development in 2006, October 26th. So it is, as our social workers, it's our duty to make aware the people about the laws regarding domestic violence, and make aware the people who doesn't know about like they are abusing their wife without their own knowledge, because of lack of education and all. They doesn't know that emotional abuse is also a type of abuse. Many people doesn't even know that. So it is our duty to make them aware that this is a type of violence, and this needs to be stopped. And even though there are laws against all these, it is not strong enough. Many people, some people even misuse it. So the laws must be made even stricter, as social workers, we need to work hard to make people aware about the consequences and the effects of domestic violence on women and even on the other genders. Yeah. So yeah. And also, like, there are many countries which doesn't even consider domestic violence as a type of violence, or it is not illegal to do such kind of things to their spouses or somebody in their own house. So we need to work for it and change the situation, and make people aware about it. So yeah, thank you.